Hi, Jim Ziegler, the Alpha Dog, and once again, I've got another incredible session for us today. Today's guest is Steve Roessler, and when I first heard Steve Roessler, I'm thinking, I got a cattle thief on what, Steve Roessler? No, it's spelled a little differently. But anyway, I got Steve Roessler from DriveCentric on today. DriveCentric is about CRM, customer relationship management. And people talk about customer relationship management, and they're looking for a technology to run it. And I'm still thinking relationship relates to people behind the technology. Now, I have been a productivity king for years, been able to multitask. A good friend of mine, Dan Thurman from the National Speakers Association, amongst other things, is a world-class juggler. And he said to me one time, he said he never learned to juggle five balls at a time until he tried six. It's all about productivity. You got to do more. You got to reach farther, stretch. And I got aware of DriveCentric recently. All the old technology CRMs, even the best of them, is old, outdated platforms today. And they keep patching them up, hoping they don't crash, And all of a sudden, we've got this brand new player. This new player's got texting. They've got video built into the platform. They've got customer communication at 0 moment in real time. So anyway, I'm going to bring Steve on, and we're just going to talk about DriveCentric. Watch, I'll snap it.
Here we go. The player's in the house. The new player.
How you doing, big guy?
Oh man, just enjoying a good old, what is it? Today's Thursday, right? It's hard to believe. The days just fly by right now.
Oh, wow. You can only watch CNN and Fox News and all the cable networks so long before your head gets blown up. So
I don't even watch TV hardly anymore. So
oh no, you can't. DriveCentric.
Yeah, buddy.
I've been hearing about DriveCentric forever, and I met you about 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But we really didn't connect permanently at that time. We shook hands at a conference and had a couple cocktails together and moved on, So I really didn't connect with you, but I've been hearing about DriveCentric.
Yeah.
And I consider myself a productivity king. The more tasks you can handle at the same time, I'll make 100 outbound phone calls in a day when I'm really working.
Yeah.
And so I believe in productivity. I've been using CRM since CRM was a Rolodex and a flat file.
Oh. You're about the Stuker.
Oh, I go back to the Stuker box or beyond the Stuker box. I go back to the Rolodex brand files. You tickle a file every morning. So anyway, in a nutshell, tell me about DriveCentric CRM. Now, you guys are sponsoring my Alpha Dog on Demand platform, and I know some of the principal players in your organization. Tell me about DriveCentric.
Well, yeah, being in the CRM space, we've officially been in the auto industry now for about 11 years. And I came on board about 6 years ago, and we had about 35 rooftops. And, when you're a CRM, you have to worry about all these certifications now with OEMs before, dealers want to look at you. Then you got to get all the DMS integration. I mean, it just takes a lot of work before you really go out there and put yourself out there in the market. So probably about the last 4 years ago, we've been really coming on strong. I always say, yeah, we're a CRM, but I tell everybody, we're a technology company. We built an updated platform where a lot of the things that typically dealerships are using in their traditional CRMs that were built, a long time ago. And instead of you going buying all these different tools and try to connect the dots to engage the customer, whether it's video, the texting, people are still using the mobile app. We wanted to give the user, the salespeople, BDC managers, the ability to have something that's very simple. And that's what I give a lot of credit to our product designers. I mean, they really built something, Jim, that looks like Facebook, Google, and Messenger.
Yes, it does. I took a demo here, about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was amazed at the simplicity of one button functions where you didn't have to push a button, click. And I mean, you're right there and you're communicating with these customers in real time. at the zero moment while they're still in the buying process.
Well, that's what's the most important. When we run out there and talk to general managers, I said, just give me something simple. If you're going out there studying what all these CRMs do, just give me something simple. So that was number one. Then when you take a look at the customer, okay, what are the customers doing, Jim? They're buying cars faster than ever now. They got everything right there at their fingertips. And when we go out there and study the customer behavior, 80% of customers are buying a car within 14 days. And that's just not our data. That's what OEMs are saying. Consultants are saying it. So it's literally a race to engagement. And what we wanted to do is keep those customers front and center, because you kind of said it earlier in your intro is, we could do 100 activities, right? But the question I would ask you, Jim, is it the right activity? Is it right? Because if I do a task of a customer that's out 60 days versus a customer that's out 7 days from when they came in, I hope we all agree that a customer 7 days is a higher priority than somebody that's out 60 days, because we got to listen to what the customer's buying behavior is doing. Otherwise, we're just doing the task to do the task.
That's what I liked about the demo that we did a couple weeks ago. Every communication with every customer was personalized to their situation.
Yeah, it's got to be. You got to. Why, Jim, would you respond to a customer that's texting you with an email? It makes no sense. It'd be like you sent me this invite on Facebook and I'm going to reply to you on LinkedIn. Makes no sense whatsoever, right? But what we're trying to adapt to and is study the customer's communication pattern inside the CRM, so the team doesn't have to think about it. They just click a button and they're just replying back to the customer based on their preferred form of communication, which I think is key. And that's what a lot of these other CRMs, they have all these business rules. And, why would if I got somebody that's texting me, I'm just going to fake a phone call. That's the reality of what's going on in traditional CRMs. They're phone call heavy, they're email heavy, but the reality is texting is the number one form of communication.
We're into texting. And that was the thing. I was saving that question for later, but now you brought it up. You brought it up. Okay. One thing about DriveCentric that impressed the heck out of me was the texting programs built in, opt-in, legal, ethical. I mean, you've got a texting program built into the process, and you've also got video communication.
Well, just to back up, Jim, did you ever think you'd see the day where you could send a GIF or an emoji in your CRM? I mean, those are the fun tools we use every day. And now we can actually have those kinds of emotions. I mean, that's some of the things you can do. Obviously, you text pictures and things like that. But yeah, absolutely. Video, we were proud to say we were the first CRM out there with fully integrated video, where you can eliminate some of those third-party tools. There's, video is video. I mean, I'm always a big fan, Jim. I know you're a big fan of doing video. Video sells cars, but if it's harder for the user to use it, you're probably dabbling in video. I call it video blah blah versus video gaga. I like to promote video gaga, meaning we got to celebrate video at the dealership. So,
I was a pioneer in this industry with video. I was doing video sales before anybody even heard of it. It was amazing. I'm a member of the National Speakers Association, and I was at a National Speakers Association convention, and Terry Brock, one of the tech wizards of that organization, was showing the little flip cameras, and we talked about this. And the next month, I was speaking at Digital Dealer. I had an audience of 400 people, and I'm up there showing people how to use video. And this was like maybe 2003, 4, 5, forget, way back.
And we're still trying to get people to do it. That's what's so weird, okay? I mean, what are we talking about, 17, 18 years? I mean, that just goes to show. I mean, but again, in automotive, the one thing, and I know we were talking about this before the show, but I came from outside automotive. The reason why I got into automotive and I left the medical industry was literally when my partner came to me and said, man, come up here. Dave Foltz is our CEO. He's just a dear friend of mine, known each other for 17 years. He said, man, come up to my house. I want to show you something, because he knew I was a diehard CRM guy, but he knew that I love math and he wanted me to be an F&I guy. But man, I go to any hospital. But man, I went up there and I just looked at the CRM And we shot a video that night, and I fell in love because I love CRM. I know that sounds crazy, but I mean, every company I ever worked with, I mean, I never did a sticker book. I always had a program to keep me on task. And I've used Act, Goldmine, Leapfrog, all these, you know, Salesforce, HubSpot. And at the end of the day, I'm just a big believer in what CRM has done for me. And I just love promoting that in the auto industry and help educate people to really grow their business, because CRM is the heart of the dealership, along with their people, of course.
See, a CRM's function is to put you in touch with more customers and to make you more, productivity is the key word. And,
Yep.
you know, how productive are you? How much of your time is wasted? How much of your effort is wasted? And I've always been a student of productivity, and I saw such high productivity with DriveCentric. You know,
Yeah.
talk to more customers, schedule more appointments. You know, it's just a numbers game.
Well, it totally is. You look at the metrics of just engagement as human beings today. Now, if you go out there and take a look at what phone engagement is, it's a little less than 20%. You know, people just don't pick up the phone. And now with the election that just happened, I mean, you know, technology is now fighting us on the phone. You can actually go to your phone and go to your phone app and actually ignore an unknown entity that is on your phone. So it goes right to voicemail.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
God, that little guy from India that's concerned about my car warranty calls me daily.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and well, you can, if he's not on your phone, you can use your technology to block that, right? But you know, email. I mean, I'm really thinking about. You'll probably love this, Jim. I would love to do like a Super Bowl commercial of something saying like, you know, like email versus text. Like, here's a Super Bowl party that we sent an email to our friends and family, and here's one we're texting, and the one's empty and the other one's full, because you won't send, you know, an email to your friends and family for a Super Bowl party. You're going to do a text, you're going to do something on Facebook, whatever it may be. But the idea is we have to communicate to our customers on what is happening today. And, you know, I always tell every dealer, communicate like you're talking to your friends and family. That's going to be text. You know, you're going to earn the right to get the customers on the phone. And, you know, if you can do things like added video for, you know, the fun things like birthdays, anniversaries, confirm appointments. I mean, those are the things we need to just humanize the car buying experience. And I think that's one of the things that we're really trying to do is arm the dealers with the right tools to give that customer or that dealership a better experience with their customers in one location.
Well, you know, so many times in dealerships today, I'm going to tell you a story. I was consulting Motor Works in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. I
You
know.
familiar, you familiar with that company, Barrington, Illinois?
Absolutely.
Your
I
Motor
don't know
Works,
those people, but I know the dealerships, obviously.
well, one of the biggest import Highline stores in the world.
Mm-hmm.
500 units a month out of one showroom. And I mean, we're talking about a highly profitable organization. And of course, that organization's changed hands since I worked with them. But when I went in there, you know, they were already profitable. How was I going to improve them? And we improved them well over $1 million annually. And there's only two things I did. I solidified their processes, and I invented a phrase called "marry your CRM."
Mm-hmm.
Where and so many dealerships today, people just go through the tasks to be doing the task. Let's get these tasks knocked out. How many times have I heard you get these things knocked out?
Yeah, how many templates can I send out in one day? I mean, it just makes my head hurt.
The
You know,
purpose of a task is to get engagement.
well, right. And that's these templates that the dealerships are using. I mean, we're just in a tweeting world. I mean, we are in about a 1 to 2 sentence. You know, I will always laugh. My wife will text me, and she's in the other room. So if she comes in and smacks me, don't be surprised. But she will use voice recognition, and she'll just sit there and it'll be coming over like 5 paragraphs long. And I just respond, can you just call me? Because I'm not going to read it. You know, I'm ADHD. You know what I mean? I won't read that. I'm like, I want to have a conversation. but that's what I always try to strategize is, you know, everybody is busy. We're in 2021. There's so much more things going on. We have to be respectful of everybody's time. The way I go out there and think of a blind call, you know, I mean, again, when an internet comes in, do I think you ought to make a call? 100%. But if you're talking the very next day, we have to be considerate on the customer and, you know, get the communication, say, hey, I need you for 5 minutes, go over your credit app. I need you 5 minutes to talk about the proposal, make sure we're all clear. I want you to be able to think about texting to earn the right to get the customer on the phone. I think that's what we have to think about and be considerate. And that's going to create that subliminal message to that customer that this dealership respects my time. And that's the one thing we can't all get. We value time more than anything in the world right now. We can't get that back.
No, you can't. And like my friend Dan Thurman, a juggler is judged by how many balls they can keep in the air at the same time.
Yeah.
How many projects can you manage simultaneously and really be on top of?
Well, right. But here's the thing, though, is if we're juggling, we just got to prioritize. If I can juggle 7 balls, again, there's going to be something that gets lost sometimes when you start juggling 7 balls. And at the end of the day, if there's technology out there, we have artificial intelligence that's built in the CRM, true machine learning. And I want you to think about this. And this is where I think dealerships are starting to really wake up and think about this. NADA did a study, I think it was in the summer, August, and I was working with some of the NADA educators. 59% of the dealerships spend their money on people. That screams inefficiencies right now. And during COVID, or before COVID, the average salesperson was selling 9 units a month. And today, or the last couple of months when they put it out there, the salesperson is doing 13. And I look at that difference right there, and I think, wow, how can we pay people more money and maybe relinquish some of those responsibilities? Instead of doing the task to the task, can we have technology to help build that engagement where my dealership becomes better responders? And all of a sudden now the dealerships become more profitable, right? They're putting the right people with better success, and you have less turnover. That's essentially what I think dealerships need to think about, because to get technology that works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that is just getting customers engaging, where I'm just picking up and I'm responding back, what a dream come true, versus hiring somebody to make 100 phone calls and send 50 emails a day to get what in return, Jim?
Well, when I make 100 phone calls, it's 100 conversations.
But people will pick up your call, Jim.
Yeah. even if they don't like me.
Oh, well, everybody has Jim Ziegler on their phone.
If a dealer's gatekeeper says, "I got Jim Ziegler on the phone," I hate Jim Ziegler. What's that son of a bitch? They still come. They still pick up the phone.
Well, you know what? Hey, we can do this, Jim. I'll be more than happy to do a blinded study with you. You give me 100 customers or dealers you're going to call, and then Steve Roessler will call those 100 dealers, and we'll see how many people pick up.
I can get more dealers on the phone than anybody.
No, I totally agree, Jim. You are a legend out there. I mean, I'm really just happy of the fact that we're able to connect like this. I mean, it just means a lot to me and our organization to share the stage with you. So we really
want to ask you some really pointed questions right now.
Absolutely.
DriveCentric. What is unique about DriveCentric that all or most of your competitors don't have, can't do, won't ever be able to do? What do you have that is so unique about DriveCentric? And I know the answers to questions you ask, by the way.
I will make it very simple. Our dealerships use it. But
you ever see the movie Home Alone?
What's that?
You ever see the movie Home Alone with
Home Alone? Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, no, look, the fact of the matter is we do get a lot of usage. I mean, it's the fact it's so easy to use, I mean, when we convert stores from all the other CRMs, and again, there's nothing wrong with all the CRMs. They were just built, a long time ago. And I compare it to using a flip phone to an iPhone 12 or 10, whatever you're on. Nobody wants to go back from a smartphone to a flip phone. They just don't. Holy cow, what is that? The cavalry coming in?
That's my cell phone. I'm trying to hang it up. I thought it was off.
Oh, okay. It might be a DriveCentric customer. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Cavalry. But here's a couple of things that we do is, number one, we try to make the dealership way more efficient by creating a pipeline. So it literally can target the customers on where they're at. People want to talk about save a deal. And what we want to do when we save a deal is make sure our salespeople are following up. And the average customer, when they hit our proposal bucket or when they leave the store with numbers and they don't buy, 70% of those customers buy within 3 days. So it's very important for dealers. Doesn't matter what CRM you're on, but you got to have that visibility. You can open up in DriveCentric and literally see the amount of times my salespeople, my BDC, my managers are or are not following up. And Jim, if you had a customer that you just left the store, it's one of your dealerships, they didn't do anything for 3 days, how would that make you feel?
Exactly. We know how it would make me feel, of course.
Oh, it's painful. I mean, and that's what we have to do. And to save a deal, I'm never going to sell a car to a customer that's not talking back to me. So that's number one. We're identifying the customers that are responding in your hottest bucket that you're going to sell a car to. Number two is when the customer is engaging you back. We literally have what's called a conversation screen, where literally you open up this conversation screen and you can see 100 customers that are talking your store today. And what that's enabling managers to do, I love it when people say, well, we have a checkout report. What's our checkout report? Well, you know what? At the end of the day's already done. What are you really doing? What you need to do is really focus on the customers that are talking to your store right now, today. If a customer is waiting longer than 10 minutes, if you don't being responded to, that is equivalent, Jim, to a customer waiting 10 minutes for a salesperson to talk to that customer in the showroom. And if you don't know how many customers are not responded to, that's scary. That is
I have seen the stats. I have seen the stats. It's incredible. You know, and the percentages of possibility of making a sale as that timeline goes farther away is unbelievable.
Oh, totally. And that's what we're just trying to do as we're going out there and, you know, trying to help dealers and modernize their world a little bit with all these communication. But, you know, like having personalized video, the texting is easy to do. Taking a store that's never texted in their CRM, and then all of a sudden you see a text email ratio of 3 to 1. They're not, you know, I ask any one of your dealers, go into your activity report and measure your text to email ratio. If you have 5,000 emails in one.
Steve, did you freeze? I think Steve froze on me. Yeah, you froze on me a second there, big guy.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, somebody on the sidebar saying we have no sound.
Oh,
well,
I don't know.
Well, we're recording just the same, so let's continue.
Can you hear me though?
Oh, I can hear you fine.
Okay, great. Well, I was just saying about measuring text email ratios, and that's the way you know that people are using the tool. You know, when it comes to video, it's as easy as a click. You know, having artificial intelligence, again, you know, some stores, they're going in different models. They're minimizing their BDC, or some BDCs aren't even come back. So they're looking at artificial intelligence to help create the engagement where a BDC, instead of taking 150 leads a month, they're taking 250 or 300 leads a month. And they can do more and pay their people more. So there's just so many different elements, but those are some of the real big highlights we do. But there's a lot of things that you can minimize buying outside of your CRM and get inside Drive. And at the end of the day, we built a platform that's flexible, that we can keep building on, and you don't have to use other vendors outside of your CRM, like video, artificial intelligence, reputation management, delivery photos. I can go on and on. It's just so many things that we're doing that's different.
Well, I see so many things that are unique, you know, to DriveCentric. And by the way, we do have sound. Our viewer didn't have his sound turned on.
Oh. Well, that's a
yeah, these broadcasts are so real, and I leave it all into. Unless there's something that's just good. You know, I see. I was just so glad your wife got the dog to shut up.
Oh yeah, no, I know. And she's having physical therapy. She just had a hip replacement, so we just got a physical therapy coming. So you'll probably hear the dog.
But anyway, yeah, when I got involved with DriveCentric, and I would never have you on my show unless I got a full demo. You know, I never have anybody that's doing business with dealers that I don't see the product first. And see, I've been hearing about DriveCentric in all my private groups, I've got a vast social network reach. You know, huge.
You do. No, absolutely.
And I'll keep hearing DriveCentric. I hear it on LinkedIn. I hear it on Facebook. I hear it on all my channels and people I talk to, the people I was speaking at the events, and DriveCentric. When are you going to get with DriveCentric? And so I said, hey, I got to get you guys aboard and see
Yeah.
what's going on, because the video aspect is absolutely. I was amazed at what you guys are doing with video. Tell us a little more about how the video works. Tell me a button by button example of how you would use the video.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's very simple. Whether you're on the desktop or you're on your mobile device, you click video and you're shooting a video. It's that simple. I mean, I hate to say it, but until you see it, you don't believe it. It's like one of these, Jim. But yeah, I mean,
Video.
yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, the tool is so simple. We've been training stores and launching stores remotely, Jim, for about 4 years. I think if you tell anybody in automotive industry that you can launch a CRM remotely, they'd be like, "Are you kidding me?" But that just goes to show the simplicity of the tool. And at the end of the day, yeah, it's just that easy. It's like going on
After your demo, I could do it.
exactly, and that's
I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right. I am technologically challenged. People see me operating technology, and it's no secret I'm 74 years old. And I operate technology, but people think I'm a technological guy. I'm not. I don't know how to load a computer program, but I don't know how to fix a car, but I can drive a car.
Well, it's kind of funny. I've talked to a couple of different owners the last couple of weeks, and they never used their CRM until they got into Drive. And one of the things we were just talking about, I was talking to a gentleman down in Florida, David Moss Jr. I was just on the phone with him today, and I was telling him, I said, "Man, how cool would it be for you to go into your 4 stores of customers that you delivered a car to at all your 4 stores, and just randomly pick maybe 4 or 5 customers that you delivered a car to, and just say thank you." And he goes, "Is this how easy it is? Just to click on a button?" I goes, "That's simple. Just do a 20, 30
That's
second
what
video."
I love about DriveCentric. Let me tell you. You remember the Geico commercial? So simple, even a caveman could do it.
Oh yeah, of course.
Well, guess what? We could do a DriveCentric logo. So simple, a dealer principal can do it.
But that's when it's so cool, because I love it when a general manager says, "I don't even get into the CRM," and I just think that that's the wrong approach. I think what you got to be able to do is the leadership, and you probably speak this because you talked about video, and there's a lot of other people like Elise Gephardt, who I have high respect for what she does with preaching about video. There's been a lot of people before me talking about the importance of video. But now it's just so simple. I don't have to type in an email address. I don't have to type in the subject line, let alone comments, then shoot the video or upload it, put it to YouTube, and then worry about a competitor's ad being in front of my, video, things of that nature. I mean, it is that simple. And the one thing, Jim, like I said, you mentioned something earlier, and I would be crazy if I didn't acknowledge just the whole team we have behind us, from, the guys. I know I mentioned the product designers, but, really our support team and what they've done to keep our customers with us, because look, any software company out there, we're not perfect. We go out there, we want to help our dealership sell more cars, focus on the engagement.
You've got a team that is readily accessible anytime that the dealers need support.
Absolutely. Let
me tell you what I hear. I hear that there are CRMs that crash and that you can't get them on the phone.
Well, we'll take the phone calls. I mean, like we were, look, at the end of the day, everybody goes down. American Airlines was down not too long ago. I mean, it made national news, but at the end of the day, it's software. Software is going to go down, and that's going to happen to us. It's going to happen to everybody. But we limit it. We use Amazon solid state drive servers. And so like when Amazon is down, yeah, we could potentially go down, but there's been a lot of websites down, inventory tools are down. I mean, there's been some issues where it made national news with Amazon. But at the end of the day, using Amazon solid state drive servers is probably a good bet, to stay up a lot more. So
what do dealers need? As far as the management with the CRM? And like I say, when I went into Motorworks, at that many years ago, we increased them $1 million. Already one of the most incredible dealerships in the country. I mean, they were. How do you improve somebody like that? By legislating the CRM.
As far as getting the general managers buy-in,
getting everybody to use it.
Well,
getting everybody to do everything the CRM did.
Well, I think what you're asking, let me make sure, is, we get all the stores, from top level down, and even salespeople bought in. At the end of the day, changing a CRM, let's face it, it's a big deal. It's like right there.
Traumatic.
What's that?
It's traumatic.
It doesn't have to be, though. I think what we have to think about is, technology has allowed us to really convert stores over. It's not an act of Congress anymore. It's really, we get a CSV file from the previous CRMs and we import it. The data is scrubbed with the DMS. We do a really good job. But again, what people got to realize is it's only as good as the data that comes in. And, with anytime we've done imports, they've been really, well. However, if there is an issue, you just re-import it and sync up the data. But a lot of our dealers, Jim, if you get a simple tool, what dealerships head trash is I'm going to lose business when I switch over in the first 90 days.
They've experienced that with other switchovers, and they go to their 20 groups and they hear the horror stories about how much data and how many customer bases were lost during a switchover. And that's the old style platforms. And it scares them. I've heard nothing but good things about you with the switchovers.
Yeah, well, and that's because, again, we're kind of like that boutique company right now. We have a lot of dealerships under us, and we continue to grow. But we're not owned by a big boy. We're DriveCentric. There's we take care of our customers, and our leader Dave Foltz was all about customer service, and that's what we literally strive to do every single day to keep our customers happy. I mean, we have those hard conversations with dealers. You got to have that. A partnership, Jim, is not always perfect. I mean, and that's what we have to tell people. So when people are signing on, there's going to be rough times. We got to be able to have those conversations with partners and say, we're going to get through this. But those are hard conversations to have sometimes. But at least if you have those upfront contracts when dealerships are signing on, and when we do get those dealerships that sign on, the best part is, Jim, is they're taking a chance, and they usually see a lift because their culture is changing. They're using the modern tools. They believe in texting. They're starting to use video. They're doing things that they never did before. That's what I get all excited about. That's what our whole company gets excited about. When a dealership goes from selling, like, let's say 100 cars to 120, 130 cars in roughly, call it 3 to 6 months, it's doable. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit that you can now see in your CRM that you never could see before. It's not a hunt and a digging type situation. It just isn't.
Well, I'm a user of CRM. I mean, back in the old days with the Rolodex, then I graduated to Microsoft Outlook, and then Goldmine and Act, and I mean,
Act was a hardware on your computer, slowed it down like mine.
Oh, did it ever?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but and the computers didn't have that much memory in those days anyway.
No. It's like you need one computer for Act. I mean, that was it. It was crazy.
I'm sitting here broadcasting right now on a 4 terabyte computer. Who would terabyte? What the world?
Yeah, well, again, and you're saying it, Jim. I mean, look, at the end of the day, that's what the technology is doing. Technology is evolving faster than ever, which is, again, if we say CRM is the heart of the dealership, if we're on like what I call an older technology, like what we say could be a flip phone, and could you imagine going back and manually type it in on the flip phone to 4 clicks to get to the letter J on your number phone?
I recall the old little Nokias.
You're right. But now technology is involved, and that's what, unfortunately, what dealerships need to really think about. Because again, I know the head trash what dealerships say with CRM, but it's just different. To go from one CRM to another, I would never recommend to any dealership unless you're going to do something different. And that's the conversation we have. If you go from whatever CRM you're on to Drive, I'm going to tell you what you're going to do different. I hope you agree. And if we don't, that's okay. And we can part friends. But at the end of the day, we have to have a business relationship on telling you why our dealerships are successful and they're going to the next level. One of the things we can touch on,
describe it, but they've got to see it. And I've got to
just take a look at it. Take a look at it.
Across the bottom of the screen, right down there.
There you go. I see it.
Down there. DriveCentric.com and go to the far left or far right, rather, as you look at the screen, and it says request a demo. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, if you see it, you'll use it. I mean, I cannot imagine being a dealer today, even on the best CRM that has traditionally been around, that I would not switch if I saw the product. And that's just me personally saying that. If I saw the product, I'm all over. And because like I say, I was a video pioneer in our business. Elise Kephart is a close personal friend of mine. I sort of discovered her. I didn't give her her talent, but I discovered her and introduced her to the industry. And I've been a big, huge believer in video because video personalizes, it humanizes you. It gives you the fourth dimension. Print is flat text, it's one dimension, and then photographs give you the second dimension. But you see, but when you got four-dimensional, when you are projecting personality, you're projecting voice tones, you're projecting facial expressions, and you're doing it in real time while they're still in the shopping process. That's what DriveCentric impressed me. You get them while they're still there.
Well, and Jim, one of the things I want to point out too, because you kind of hit the nail on the head, is video is one component to a personalized video. But about 4 or 5 months ago during the pandemic, we had this actually developed. We just thought it was too early, but we implemented a tool called Live Rooms. So now you can do live streaming with the customer. And so some of our real progressive dealers are starting to do live streaming. They're doing, for example,
is this sort of like Zoom?
Totally. Yeah, it's just inside the CRM.
So you got something built into the program.
Yeah.
Similar to Zoom, where they can have a conversation with that consumer. And I'm an F&I manager. F&I was, any records I set in the business were in finance. I had other management jobs, but finance is where I set my mark in the industry. And right now with digital retailing, if that F&I manager can communicate with that customer in real time before they push all the buttons, how much more money can we make and how much happier will the customers be?
Oh, totally. I mean, you could do everything from a trade appraisal that way, schedule, hey, can I see your trade? And I'll have my used car manager on the video with us and we'll take a look at your trade and appraise it. You're right. People are doing F&I remotely. They're doing customer interviews. Like, how many times, Jim, does your dealership get a credit app and it's, inputted wrong? And you say, hey, I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about the credit app, do an interview. Digital retailing, and Jim, since you bring it up, I got to throw this out there because what we'd like to think that digital retailing is the customer is doing a part of the transaction, not at the dealership. It's not just 100% everything on your website.
Nobody's doing 100%. No matter what vendors are telling you.
Your digital retailing is the heart of what you're doing. Digital retailing is actually in your CRM. You could do a Kelley Blue Book trade, send the Kelley Blue Book right over to the customer. You could appraise the car that way. You could show them the car. You could do that virtual live room and do a virtual test drive. You could do the F&I. Do so many things now and get the customer's experience what they want, which is less time at the dealership.
What the big fallacy is, and I hope everybody on the broadcast, we got about 15 people in the platform with us right now, listen to broadcast. I've got another 20 or 30 in the private groups. Private groups don't show up on the screen. But when I republish this, it'll be thousands of people watching the replays. So all the people that are watching the replays, the people that are with us live, one thing you got to understand is consumers are rejecting filling out forms or questionnaires. They're not filling out forms. We experienced it a while back with the lead providers. The lead providers, people stopped filling out forms. They just researched on the internet and showed up at the store. Now people understand, I will fill out my paperwork online, but I still want to physically go see the doctor. And that's us with the car dealerships. They'll do their paperwork online, but they will physically come in to take delivery. They still want to see the car. They still want to know the people that they like you, know you, and trust you. Does that make good sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's part of what you're saying there, Jim, is what I would consider upstream marketing. You're doing upstream marketing is something that's really not talked about a lot. But if you go out there and you're studying the customer behavior and understanding what the customer is doing today, and you develop a program that suits that customer's needs. And that's going to create brand awareness for your dealership, for them to promote you by word of mouth. Man, Jim, you actually did a virtual test drive with me, or, oh, you did a virtual walk around. I didn't have to come to your store. That is powerful. That is powerful. And that's going to separate a dealership from the other dealership. I promise you. Just even sending a personalized video right now is separating a dealership from other two dealerships.
Once again, there's that fourth dimension. You're humanizing yourself. You've got facial expressions, voice intonations. You've got a smile.
You got the hair.
Oh my God, Jimmy Neutron.
That's right.
Yeah, it's amazing that people don't get. So many people in the tech world don't get personalization. They don't understand it. I would buy a car online. Well, guess what? You are not our target customer. You are a smaller percentage of our target audience. And that's what people that designed. And I was working with another CRM company 10 years ago. And I told them at the time, you are programming this for yourselves, not for your dealers.
Mm-hmm.
You are doing what you think you would do. And guess what? You are not our programmers. You are not our target audience. You are not the people we're selling to. And you're assuming that our customers are going to do this. That's where when I saw DriveCentric, I said, hey, you guys have got it dialed in.
Yeah, I think we're just saying a completely different message. I think when we go out there and really promote this, I mean, we talk about it from the customer's perspective, and that's the way I think you got to do it to really help dealerships today. And the best part about it is, Jim, we've been working with a lot of the OEMs. Just give you an idea with texting, DriveCentric, for example, and to be fair, other CRMs are, but you definitely want to make sure you ask. But texting is a disposition as a form of engagement to the OEMs. So when those OEMs or the Shift Digital reps come into the store, they can not only see your phone calls and your emails, but they'll see text messages as well. So even the OEMs are promoting texting. My understanding is they're looking at doing some video as well.
There's a reason for that. I probably just delete an untold number of emails, and I don't answer so many emails. But there is no unanswered text.
Oh, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. It's like, why would I send an email? And that's what always bothers me. I guarantee any general manager, GSM, anybody who's on this call, you go look at how many unread emails you have, and I'm sorry, but that's your customer. And you're going to send another one that just adds to that. It's going to get lost. Text messages don't. You just got to get them opt-in. And, there is some good stats out there. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation on texting.
You just said something, opt-in.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, everybody listen, pay attention. Stop doing what you're doing. Pay attention. Pay attention.
Pay attention.
Pay attention. Mass texting is illegal. Mass texting can get you hundreds of thousands of dollars of fines, not hundreds of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars of fine for your dealership. Yeah. Now, and there are companies out there that are selling mass texting, and that is illegal. And you can say, well, we've been getting away with it for years. Well, how many times would you have to get caught before it ruined your day? Think about that. And one thing about DriveCentric that I have seen, I know for a fact that your opt-in process is completely legitimate.
No, it is. And it's really cool because we actually have business rules for texting. So, and our artificial intelligence actually gets a lot of opt-in for texting. So, because you'll communicate via text and email, ask customer, do you prefer texting? And customer says, yes, game on for texting. Your people don't even have to do it. But that's the whole idea is that let's just ask the customer what their preferred form of communication is and respect that. But one of the things too, that's always important, I always like to say, Jim, when we look at the customers, and we got to understand that 90% of customers don't trust us in the auto industry. Isn't that a newsflash, Jim?
Oh, guess what? There are vendors out there that have promoted that.
Right. But that's what's even on all the reports that I've ever seen. It's just, it's crazy. So I look at that. I don't look at that as a negative though. I look at that as a positive because if 9 out of 10 dealerships are really truly in the customer's head, like, I don't trust this dealership, that's the opportunity for that dealership to change that perception. And if a customer says no to texting, because in America, 99% of Americans text, okay? The number one buyer last year were millennials and Gen Zs, and you don't know they don't pick up the phone. But the reason why they don't opt in with us is because they're thinking you're going to badger them. I'm going to give you my cell phone and you're going to text me? Are you kidding me? So one of the things we highlight in DriveCentric, if a customer says no to texting, I always love to promote that you're earning the right to get that customer to text. And imagine you getting that win, Jim, what that message is. If I could get a customer re-opted in saying start, restart, the language you have to do to get that opt-in back turned on from the customer, you just sold a car. Because you're just getting that customer to say, I trust you now. How powerful is that?
That is extremely powerful. And that's what we do. So now when they get on the DriveCentric website and they request a demo on your website, DriveCentric.com. I mean, you can remember that, trust me. DriveCentric.com, right side of the page, up at the top, request a demo. Once you see it, you'll be amazed. And I'm not just flowering this guy with compliments because they're sponsoring AlphaDogOnDemand.com. I mean, but still in all, I wouldn't say anything rather than just create a false impression that they have a great product. They have a fantastic product. We're running down to the end of our time together. What else do you want to say to people today?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, Jim. I think, when it comes to just taking a look at CRM, I mean, we know that there's a lot of steps to it. So just because you're doing a demo and you're taking a look at it, I like to think of our demos too as a lot of education. When you start seeing the data, it becomes your data. It makes a lot more sense. But if anything, when you take a demo, I really hope that people go out there and they start implementing the practice. Whether we're the right fit for you or not, it's okay. Take the measurements and take the stuff that you'll learn of the data we have in our tool and implement it. And create the good behaviors. We'd love to get anybody as a customer, but more importantly, we want a partner. We want a partner that's going to move to the next level. They want to grow with us. And again, take their dealership to the next level, because a lot of our dealerships, quite frankly, they'll tell you it's a competitive edge to have our product. It's not just a data management tool. You're really looking at it as an engagement management tool on a lot of different levels. So it can really catapult your business. But again, we want everybody to succeed, but not everybody does. Let's face it. I mean, you have to have the managers in place to implement.
You got to have the managers. You got to have the training. And not just the training, you got to enforce the fact that they're going to do what they're trained to do. I've often said in the car business, we don't have a knowing problem. We have a doing problem.
Yep.
So don't assume your people don't know and got to retrain them. They just got to do what you trained them to do the first time. And CRM will increase your productivity. CRM runs a dealership. It is the heartbeat of the dealership. Marry your CRM. And I've had people say to me, well, that's old Joe. Old Joe can't learn the CRM. Old Joe can't stay here. I'm sorry. If old Joe can't learn the CRM, old Joe can't work in my dealership. And, and I don't mind telling you I'm 74 years old and I operate a CRM every day. Don't buy it. Old Joe's too old to do that. I'll slap old Joe.
Yeah, no. But at the end of the day, you're right, Jim. You got to have these managers that are going. That's why it's so important to get buy-in. And I think what's really important too is when salespeople see the mobile app. I know we didn't touch base on the mobile app, but I'll tell you what, I get a personal joy when we go out there and we study like our mobile app usage. Because look, let's face it, if your guys aren't using the mobile app, I mean, today in 2021. Man, that's just crazy.
Mobile app. Look on the screen a second. Do you know those guys?
Andy Carr. Yeah, of course. He's going live with Drive. What's up, Andy?
Hello, Andy. Glad you're here.
Yeah, we're so excited. I just talked to Andy. He went live with Drive. He's getting ready to launch, I think, in February. So we're happy to have that guy on board. And it's kind of interesting, just because it's Andy Carr and he knows the story. But in St. Louis, we were working with the Lufuse. What's that?
Dealerships he with?
He's at Jack Schmidt Ford.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So, but he's local here to St. Louis, Missouri. And when we started up DriveCentric, the Lufuse Auto Group, we couldn't really sell DriveCentric within a 100-mile radius. So we actually, couldn't sell it to Andy several years ago. And it's kind of cool now because we're able to now. And it was, being a startup, we had to, go out there and say a few things. We don't have those restrictions anywhere now. But I mean, when you're getting started, you got to have some good faith with, some of the right partners out there, which Lufuse Auto Group took a big chance on us when we first came on board. But anyway, so yeah, we were able to open the floodgates a little bit, and we're starting to get obviously the St. Louis market, which is really nice to have people on.
I've got a lot of business in St. Louis. I love that St. Louis market. I did a lot of business in the day with the Offenberg dealerships.
Oh yeah.
It's two brothers on either side of the border.
Yeah, Chris. I guess who do you work with, Chris?
Chris and Jamie.
Chris and Jamie. Okay, I don't know Jamie. I know just Chris, but yeah, we again, that's a big group, so it always takes a long time to get groups like that. So
Offenberg's great friends of mine. Known. I mean, we go back to the '80s.
No, I mean, and I just barely know the guy, so I can't really say I'm buddy with them or anything, but I know of them. So
absolutely
here in St. Louis. And Jim, if you're ever in St. Louis, and again, being here in St. Louis, we want to start opening up our doors. We just got a new building. We're going to be designing it. It's surely not where we want it to be, but it's we've got some really good things coming. We'd love to have like 20 group meetings maybe at our company when we get to that point and everybody's open to visit again. But anyway, love to have you come down if you're ever in St. Louis, Jim. Love to have you come by and meet the team.
Well, we can get down to Flats and do a little gambling.
Oh, there you go. My Lord.
If I go to St. Louis, I'm going to hit the casinos. That's a fact.
Oh my gosh. Well, there's plenty of casinos, I'm sure, where you're at.
No, Georgia doesn't have. We got a couple tribal casinos. We got Cherokee Nation's got a couple of them, but Florida's got some, but no, we don't.
Huh. Well, kind of interesting. I don't know. I mean, it's just there's so much good things around St. Louis. I mean, I'm born and raised in St. Louis. You can see some of my St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Cardinals. You got the Arch. It's a great place. So
anyway, DriveCentric.com. Request a demo. It's a no-brainer. If you don't do it, you have no brain.
Well, if anything, it's a no-brainer just to take a look at it. That's the biggest thing. I always tell everybody, if you don't know what's out there, technology evolves. I think if you've never heard of a company, you need to look at it and just know what's out there. I think educate yourself. It's that's the best thing you can do. And even if somebody looks at our product, and we've had people take a look at it, and they're in contracts, and that's okay. Know what's out there, so when the time is up, you know what's out there. And that's the biggest thing. The timing's never right to change a CRM, but I always say is don't delay the inevitable. I had shoulder surgery. I was supposed to get shoulder surgery, Jim, and I delayed it like 8 months because I didn't want to have shoulder surgery, but I did. Now, after I had shoulder surgery, you know what I said? I wish I would have done that 8 months ago. And that's what's kind of interesting. People that wait and then they go live with Drive, the first thing, and I hope Andy Carr says this, is I should have done this longer ago. I wish I would have done it like a year ago or 2 years ago.
Time ago.
It's always music to my ears when I hear that because you're doing something right as an organization.
I got a call today that I'm going to be teaching some general manager classes online to one of the major automotive universities that teaches dealer principled and second generation dealers. I'm going to be teaching some of their some sessions in their general manager classes for their graduation, a couple weeks. And one thing I did in my speech at Digital Dealer, when 20 things a general manager needs to do every week, and then the other one was 20 things I'd do if I bought your dealership, 20 things I'd change. And in both of those presentations, I said, always entertain new technologies. Do not get so loyal to a vendor that you don't look at what's out there, because you're loyal to the person. You're not really loyal to the vendor. And, a smart dealer will look at everything out there. If you're fighting with spears, don't turn away the machine gun salesman.
Right. Look, at the end of the day, business evolves. And that's essentially what you're saying. You can still be friends with somebody that you leave. You know what I mean? It's just you're saying your technology's outdated. I mean, at the end of the day, we have to hold ourselves accountable at our company to keep pushing the envelope and to evolve. We don't want to be just stagnant. We just can't afford to do that. We wanted to be something different in the automotive industry. And, some of the dealerships that have seen us and committed to us over all these years, staying with us and seeing the product grow. I mean, I feel like they've got a lottery ticket. I think some of the dealerships that are coming on board now, they're seeing the light. We've kind of had to earn our stripes. And it's just great to kind of see where we're going as an organization. So, really the whole leadership team, our CSM team that takes care of all the accounts, I just can't say what a great organization we have behind us.
You and I have interacted, I met you years ago, but you and I have interacted and we've genuinely become friends. I genuinely like you, know you, trust you, which are the three elements, And I like the people. And that makes it, I don't do business with people I don't like. And
I wouldn't either. I mean, I think that makes sense. That's in the car business, right? I'm not gonna go. It's so funny. My wife went and bought a car, probably about a year ago now, but it's kind of funny. She went to 3 dealerships. I said, which car, where do you want to buy from? And she goes, well, I like the guy that didn't know anything about the car because he was responding and I liked him. That was it.
Yeah.
She bought from who she liked. It's normal. That's what I always tell everybody. It's like, it's just a different world. People know what car they want. You just got to give them the experience.
Digital retailing to a point, but right now, digital retailing is not completely working. Regardless of what you're being told, not everybody is doing everything online. There's still the percentages are there that are doing it very small.
Right.
So people are looking at Carvana as the benchmark. Carvana is less than 5% of the industry. I mean, they're a very small portion of our industry. And there are certain people that will totally transact and totally take delivery online, but that's not the majority of people. The majority of people are bailing out during the process and doing the paperwork, but they're not totally pulling the trigger as much as you are being told.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, nobody's going through start to finish. I mean, I think it's still too early. I think there's still a lot of unknowns. And again, there's that trust factor potentially. But yeah, I think, especially with digital retailing, again, I think we touched on it is, digital retailing is happening in your CRM. You can do a lot of things, digital retailing on your CRM, or in your CRM. And, that's what we try to promote, whether it's the live rooms, you're doing the video, you're doing proposals, you're doing trade appraisals, you're doing, all these things that you need to do. And then there's obviously technology where you can get, signatures done, so what does the customer need to do? If the customer wants to have that type of experience, we have to provide it. And that's why I always think in terms, and right before we joined this call, Jim, I'll tell you what's kind of funny. I was talking to a dealer, think about it like this. If your power went down, could you deliver a car with pen and paper only?
And a green Sharpie.
And it's kind of interesting because the guy's like, no, I couldn't do it. And I was like, wow. I mean, it's kind of like disaster readiness, right? And, I came from the medical industry and, obviously with tornadoes and things that happened in Joplin, Missouri, probably like 10 years ago now, where, they had no power and they were, helping patients. But I want you to think about this analogy. So it's not disaster readiness, it's customer readiness. And I got to be prepared for every situation of a type of customer that wants to have their situation, their experience at your dealership. We just got to ask the question. We just got to say, what type of experience would you like to have at our dealership? How would you like to go through and buy a car? Let's just ask the question.
That's my friend Frank Crinitti. Frank sells as many as 150 cars a month, a salesperson. And he lets people buy the car the way they want to buy the car. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's his whole philosophy. See, today, selling is not a great skill. I mean, a monkey with a note in his mouth can sell 20 units. Yeah, I understand. I mean, selling is marketing is the sales key today.
Yeah.
Google is the battlefield. Your website's the showroom. Your CRM is the mechanism. I mean, that's exactly. Well, Guy, we have been on an hour. Can you believe we it seems like we just
on and on and on. I told you this was going to be easy, man. I mean, talking to you, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Jim, and I'm so glad we finally connected. And
I want you to come back. I want you to come back and do some content pieces with me, because this video will be up later on Alpha Dog. Now, dog is DAWG, like my beloved Georgia Bulldogs. But anyway, take your hat off. Anyway, Georgia Bulldogs, alphadogondemand.com. That is a free video platform training for salespeople, sales managers, dealer principals, BDC. And in the future, I'll have Steve Roessler doing some things on there. And that's Steve Roessler, but he doesn't steal cattle. He actually not that kind of a rustler.
Well, you could say Hulk Hogan used to be a wrestler. So if you're from the South, you say cattle wrestler. But
yeah. Well, actually, in the South, he was a wrestler.
Wrestler, yeah, I get that, or Roessler. It's German, so
Roessler, yeah. What the heck? Us Germans. You're just a goose step on the way to school,
Hey, listen, Jim, look, I know we talked about video, and if there's some education, I speak on personalized video, texting, just engagement strategies. Just like I said, I want to be, my goal in 2021 was really be a resource. I mean, just taking some of the topics I've done at NADA, digital dealer, driving sales, all the platforms out there. And I know nobody's traveling. So if I could educate, a store, get the stores changing their engagement strategy, and maybe they need to understand why. I'd love to offer that as support to your audience. And if I can help out, I'm more than happy to.
What I'd like to do with you in the future is using that we're on Be Live right now, but I'd like to use the Zoom platform where I can let you screen share. And when we do that, I want to get into video, just the video component of DriveCentric.
Oh yeah, we can do that.
I want to show the video and actually take some Q&A from the sidebar.
No, absolutely. It's, like I said, it's very easy to use. And I think, one of the things that we could even do, Jim, if you want to, is I do a presentation on some of the best video practices. And maybe what I could do is, just so it's in real time, I can share some of those videos, and we can share, because I think that's one of the things. Like, I know Elise does a great job, doing the BDC and introduction video with the board and everything. Huge supporter of that. But, I'm taking video to the next level, doing confirm appointment videos. Maybe it's a dead deal video, a thank you video for buying the car from, let's say,
a dead deal video, a thank you video. How many different types of videos do we talk about?
Oh, it's endless. I always say the next time you type up an email, send a video. That's the best way to think about it, because you don't have a spell check in video. You got it, Jim. You got it.
Hey, listen, guy, we're going to sign it off. Okay, that's DriveCentric.com. Request a demo. Go to your dealer right now. Hold your breath till you turn blue till the dealer gets on the site. Okay, Steve. Thank you.
No, thank you, Jim. Really appreciate it, and glad to be on the show. Thank you very much for having us.
Hang around a second.
You got it.